The rest of the story. You think of Charles Dickens, you think of English literature, of sharply defined characters, unforgettable stories. But while he lived, Charles Dickens wielded his pen as a sword. 100 years ago, it slashed at the sweatshops, and as a result, national and then worldwide attention was drawn to the cruel misuse of underage children in manufacturing. Resistance was mobilized. The ears of legislators, once closed, opened, and civilization became more civilized. And yet there was one kind of forced sweat work that social activist Charles Dickens applauded. That was when short-term prisoners, pickpockets, vagrants, prostitutes, petty thieves, when they were punished productively. Several at a time, they were placed on a large treadmill. Looked something like the paddle wheel on the rear of an early riverboat. In fact, it was called the tread wheel. And as I say, the prisoners, several at a time, side by side on this huge rotating device, would walk turning the wheel. Thus, collective muscle power was harnessed to mill wheels, which in turn ground grain. In this way, convicts earned their keep, worked off their debts. At the Smithsonian, you can see an example of the first British prisoner-powered tread wheel. It was invented by Sir William Cubitt in 1818. Mr. Dickens in 1853 wrote, quote, "It is a satisfaction to me to see a determined thief, swindler, or vagrant sweating profusely at the treadmill." It was the punishment aspect of which the author approved. And so all in favor, the tread wheel was a success in Britain, but it was rejected in the United States. Until now. Until now. That's the rest of the story. Tread wheels, or at least modern versions of them, are in use in the United States today. One version looks like an enormous wall with pegs in it. You climb the wall from peg to peg, but as you do, the wall rolls backward and at precisely the same speed that you are climbing, so you stay in place. You never get to the top, but you keep climbing. And I think I know why in these presumably enlightened times such a device is still employed. It has something to do with something that was said in the times of Charles Dickens by another writer. The other writer, observing the use of tread wheels in prisons, wrote, quote, the health of convicts was reportedly improved as a result of treading the wheels. The health of convicts was improved. This very day, this very night, in innumerable locations across our nation, the tread wheel and its progeny are being sweated on and sweated over. 181 years after its invention, people are now paying to get on. Rather than a punishment for criminals, we are paying to get on the tread wheel in health clubs everywhere. We're eager to punish ourselves for our health. As convicts were once punished for their crimes and thus got healthier, so do we, but now voluntarily. And that is the rest of the story.